Hi, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is Northwest Brew Talk. Welcome to Northwest Brew Talk, the #1 podcast on Washington beer. This is episode 59. Each and every week, we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved in drinking Washington beer. If you like to drink Washington beer, learn about the people behind it on this show. With over 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer. This week, we debut a new segment called Building a Brewery. We have our brew news and local music from Stenosis.
If you have any comments or questions, feel free to send us an email at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, share our link and tell your friends on social media. It takes just a few to start a revolution. To start the show, let's open our first beer.
All right, what do we got, Michelle?
Our first beer was gifted to us from Ghostfish Brewing. It is their Double IPA, Peakbuster. Ghostfish Brewing is located in Seattle and open 7 days a week. They are family-friendly and produce gluten-free beers. Make sure you tune in a few weeks when we'll be airing their interview. Their Peakbuster Double IPA was featured as our fresh beer on episode 49. It is 100% gluten-free, brewed with malted millet and buckwheat, and hopped with Eureka, Centennial, and Summit hops. These hops create a powerful aroma of tropical fruits: mango, passion fruit, lychee, and citrus and pine. 9.5% ABV. 130 IBU and an untapped rating of 3.85.
This one has a serious citrus smell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It is like drinking a grapefruit. It tastes like a grapefruit.
It's delicious.
It really is good.
You would never guess that this is a gluten-free beer.
No, this is. I'm sure it's the way they mix everything together, which they explain really well when we interviewed them. So you'll get
it's a great interview.
Yeah, you'll get all that. If you're gluten-free or if you're not gluten-free, they have some really good beers.
Yep, highly recommend them.
Yeah, this is it's a golden color, and it's got a nice head on it, nice white head, and it is not that kind of white head, and it is really, I mean, it's 130 IBUs, and it is definitely, it's like biting into a grapefruit. It smells like it and tastes like it.
It's good.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. That's good.
You know, a lot of times we find we don't like the double IPAs and
yes,
the imperial stouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they just taste so heavy, you know, but this is good.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't give you that same feeling.
No, definitely. It says transcend your limits. And that, definitely a good beer. And now on to this week's brew news.
Topping this week's news, Foggy Noggin Brewing in Bothell turns 6 this month. The small brewery run by Jim Jameson will celebrate this Saturday, March 26th from noon to 5 p.m. with a release of their 2016 anniversary ale in 22-ounce bottles and on tapped, and much more. Whiskey Ridge Brewing in Arlington is celebrating its first anniversary with a party from 2 to 8 p.m. this Saturday, March 26th at the brewery. There will be live music and Big Dog's food truck. Emerald City Harley in Linwood will host Harleys and Hops from 6 to 9 p.m. on Friday, March 25th. There will be 15 local breweries pouring beer, including Diamond Knot, Dreadnought Brewing, and White Wall Brewing. 3 live bands, wow, and a barbecue. Tickets are $25 in advance at SeattleUncorked.com or $30 at the door.
George Hancock, craft brewery pioneer and legend, has passed away after a battle with cancer in Phoenix. He was 71. Hancock was the former president of Pyramid Brewing Company. By 1996, Pyramid was the 4th largest craft brewery in the country, and George was president until 1999. He was the primary force behind the formation of the Washington Beer Commission and served as chairman. He also served as president of the Washington Brewers Guild and received the Brewers Association's FX Matt Defense of the Industry Award for his work and effort in protecting and promoting craft beer. After a brief hiatus from the industry, he moved to Phoenix and started the Phoenix Ale Brewery in 2011, which continues today. And I should mention that George was there when Hart Brewing and Thomas Kemper merged and eventually became Pyramid, and that's when he came into the picture.
The Seattle Scotch and Beer Fest is this weekend, March 25th and 26th at Fremont Studios in Seattle. Enjoy flights of scotch, including tastes from Northwest distilleries. There will also be opportunities to learn from a certified scotch expert on how to properly smell and taste scotch. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to scotchbeerfest.com. The second annual Casting for Recovery fundraiser called Fish Tales and Ales is March 26th at Flycaster Brewing in Kirkland. Casting for Recovery aims to enhance the quality of life for women with breast cancer through a program that combines breast cancer education and peer support with therapeutic sport of fly fishing. Tickets for the event include food, drinks, music, and a silent and live auctions. For more details or to purchase tickets, visit castingforrecovery.org. Last week we talked about paints and pints. Well, Brush and Brews takes place at Snowtown Brewery in Snohomish on March 31st. Vine and Palette hosts the events. Tickets are $35 and include materials and a 2-hour lesson. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to vineandpalette.com.
That is a cool idea. I think I'd like to try that sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
An aerospace expert with a history of helping NASA develop useful technology for the mission to Mars has found a way to use some of that technology to help cut small brewers' cost. Fermenting beer produces carbon dioxide, which large breweries capture to use later in carbonating their product. Small brewers, though, have not been able to capture that until now, so they've let the gas dissipate and carbonate their beer with CO2 they truck in. Pioneer Energy of Lakewood, Colorado has developed CO2 Craft Brewery Recovery System. It's a mobile cart that lets small brewers do what large breweries can. And why is NASA interested in this technology? Because Mars's atmosphere is 96% CO2. If they could turn it into fuel or water or breathable air, that would make it very cool for them.
Very cool.
The Brewers Association, the trade association representing small and independent craft brewers, released 2015 data on U.S. craft brewing growth. Small and independent craft brewers now represent 12.2% market share of the overall brewing industry, up from 11% in 2014. Craft brewers produced 24.5 million barrels and saw a 13% rise in volume and a 16% increase in retail dollar value. Additionally, in 2015, the number of operating breweries in the U.S. grew 15%, totaling 4,269 breweries, the most at any time in the American history. Small and independent breweries account for 99% of the breweries in operation. There were 620 new breweries and only 68 closings. Washington state numbers aren't out yet, but there are over 300 active breweries in the state.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
Okay, this week, normally this would be where we have our standard interview, but we are debuting a new segment on the show called Building a Brewery with Figurehead Brewing in Seattle. The owners, Bob and Jesse, are in the midst of putting together their brewery. They have a location, and they will be updating us every couple weeks with the progress. And it's a good way for somebody out there that's looking to start a brewery to see what are all the things that you have to go through.
Yeah, very excited for this.
Yeah. Yep, and it was so. This is going to be a longer interview. Normally, it's going to be just a few minute segment, just updating on what's going on with them up until the time that they open. So it's going to be very cool. And this is Bob and Jesse from Figurehead Brewing.
Welcome to Building a Brewery with Bob and Jesse from Figurehead Brewing.
How'd you guys decide to start a brewery? I mean, let's start with that.
So, we've both been home brewers for more than a decade. And it was kind of by a happen chance that we ended up being neighbors. So I actually live in Jesse's front yard.
Oh,
It's one of those, it's like a lot where they split, and I have the old small house in the front, he's got the new house in the back. And, we started drinking homebrew together and talking about brewing beer, and realized we both had a passion for it, and ended up having, complementing skills, I think, as far as what we're putting into the business. So, yeah, it worked out really well.
So what, like those skills, now what's the difference that you each bring?
So Bob went to business school and then went to brewing school as well. So he is business-minded, and I loathe paperwork. But I'm tall, and I'm, so I can open pickle jars and get stuff off of tall shelves, things like that. But I've worked in the maritime industry for 15 years as an engineer, so I've done plumbing and electrical work and those types of things. So I can do just about anything with my hands. But as we're learning with the brewery, that all ends up pretty much falling on contractors for the most part. I was foolish thinking I could do all that myself, but that's my background though. Yeah.
Nice. So. You've both been homebrewing for some years, and what kind of beers did you guys like homebrewing?
We do all kinds of stuff, and some, I don't know, IPAs, bitters. Recently I've been doing a lot of Belgian styles, saisons. I've been kind of into that, so kind of all over the map, really.
Right.
Yeah, I made some goofy, like, imperial vanilla bourbon milk stouts and stuff like that, which are kind of fun. And the regular styles, one of the interesting things about, like, Bob and I, as we talk, and this is really, Bob sort of led with this, but he is like a yeast profile guy, loves the yeast profile of Belgians and English styles, which can, depending on how you brew the beer, can be showcased by the malts that you use. And so everybody's making IPAs and stuff in the Northwest, and they're amazing. Everybody loves them, the West Coast IPA style. And we love them too, but I've always clung to malt as the flavor that I really like to pick up out of beer. So if I drink an IPA, I really like a malty IPA. I love the hop profile, but I really want the malt to shine through. And so we sort of share that. So everybody does IPAs. We definitely want to do IPAs because we love them, but we really want to showcase malt and yeast primarily because I think they're sort of underrepresented flavor profiles for beers.
Sure.
When I went to brewing school, like the one thing that the professor taught that really stuck with me, he said, if you can't tell it's in the beer, don't put it in there. So, and he was talking more about like, putting 10 different kinds of specialty malts. You put like a little dash of this and a dash of that, but you can't really tell it's in the beer, so why'd you put it in there? And I think the same way about yeast. I think the yeast is a big part of the beer, so if you can't tell that there's yeast in the beer, what's the point? So that's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so because of that, you guys are going to brew. You're going to brew some different stuff. You're not going to just brew the standard fare like everybody.
All right. So our house strain will probably be an English strain.
Okay.
So bring it through that malt and some of that yeast character, and then we'll also do Belgian styles, saisons, things like that. So.
Okay. Who's going to be the brewer?
We both will be.
You're both going to.
Yeah.
He's the brains.
He's the brains. You're just the brawn.
I do what I'm told.
So I'll probably review Jesse's recipes before we brew them. Because like you said, he does the bourbon barrel-aged milk stout.
Yeah. But that is how I think some breweries try to distinguish themselves by brewing some things that are not standard either. Mm-hmm. So is that? I mean, you're gonna have a standard group of beers. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're not like trying to create some new style or some niche market per se, but some maybe underrepresented styles like some English styles like special bitters and bitters. Maybe some smaller gravity Belgian styles, like a Potter's beer that's, at 4.5% kind of Abbey style beer. So some styles like that.
Yeah, we listened to your Tin Dog interview.
Oh, yeah.
And that woman is amazing. Like, I can't remember her name, but she...
Lisa.
Say again?
Lisa.
Yeah, and she was... her husband brews kind of the German styles, and then she's like, I do whatever I want. And and Bob and I have been talking about a few styles like like a Earl Grey and then a Potter's beer. And she's like, oh yeah, I made an Earl Grey beer and I made a Potter's beer. And Bob's like, ah. but now we gotta. I haven't been there yet, but I want to get down where they are and try those beers because I mean. It's so much. That's the best thing about this industry is like you can throw all sorts of different stuff in beer and see how it tastes, and then we can go try theirs and see if Earl Grey is going to be a style we can handle to brew and that kind of stuff. But.
Yeah, definitely. So, Ballard has a ton of breweries. Seattle has a ton of breweries. So, why do you guys want to open one?
I think it's just a passion for it. I think it's just something we've always really wanted to do, and we've kind of had a shared vision and goal to do it. So I think there's a lot of breweries out there, but everybody's doing really good, and they're all busy and can't keep up with demand. So I think there's still some capacity left out there.
Yeah. I learned a while back, don't do anything for the money. Just do what you're going to do, and the money will follow if it's going to. But you never want to go to work to make money, like ever. I mean, you're going to have a job. You're going to have to make money. Everybody does. But if you do something you're absolutely passionate about and love, the money will follow eventually. And it comes through. You can tell when people are... Well, but in this industry, everybody makes beer because they love beer. That's like the business we're in, is making people happy and ourselves. We've been trying to open or get a space for 2.5 years roughly. So we would have started a while back if we could have, and we would have beat a few of the breweries to the punch. But it's just how it works. But this space ended up being definitely the right space in the right town. So
I think Jesse and I sit at our day jobs and think about brewing beer. So I think that was the sign that we should make the jump and do what we love and what we have a passion for.
So the brewery's going to be in Ballard, right?
It's Magnolia Inner Bay.
Okay.
So just across the canal from Ballard, right next to the Fisherman's Terminal.
Okay. And how big is it?
It's a 1,500 square foot space, and we'll have a 7-barrel brewery.
Okay. And have you ordered this? Have you ordered the brewery or the brewing equipment?
Our kettle and our mash tun are actually on a truck right now as we speak on the way here. So. That'll be pretty exciting when we get that in.
Nice.
But yeah, we're still in the midst of acquiring the rest of the equipment. So.
Yeah, you want to... The brewery's the fun part, right? You want to get all this brewing equipment, but as you realize really quickly, too bad. You got to pay the electrician and the plumber and the roofing guy and all, So that's... The infrastructure stuff sucks up your budget, and then you're like, okay, we got $100 left to buy brewing equipment.
Scrapyard, right?
Yeah. I live at the scrapyard.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it.
So this segment that we're going to be doing probably every other week until you are in full blown construction. Is going to be about how your brewery is developing and such. So at this point, you have a 1,500 square foot space. Is there anything in it?
We've got 3 walls of a walk-in cooler built.
Okay.
So the problem we have is our kettle is too large to fit past the walk-in. That's behind the walk-in in the space. So we can't put the 4th wall in the walk-in until we get our kettle in the back. So once that's here in about a week, then we can finish the 4th wall of the walk-in. We have a trench drain.
Okay.
So we cut our floor and dug and set a trench drain and just recently poured concrete again to patch it all up. So that's about what we've done so far.
That seems like a big thing. The drain. That seems like the biggest thing when you see somebody working on a brewery. That's like the big thing all the time. They got to cut the concrete, put the drain in, and
it'll probably end up being the best money we've spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, right before I came over here, I was over there grinding concrete for the trench drain to kind of, level it out and smooth it out and stuff. And our whole place has like a 1/4 inch of concrete dust over everything. So we got to get that done before I can do anything else.
Right.
But it's satisfying to see that type of stuff come together.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, but once we get that in, the brew kettles are in there. It'll be nice to have. Oh yeah, we're building a brewery. We forgot, because you feel like you don't know what you're doing in there, and then we'll have kettles, and it's like, yes, we're going to be using those at some point. So. But yeah, it's happening every time we have an opportunity. The permits have allowed and the space allows. We're like on it. Like, we don't want to be holding up any other part of the process. So we just find time, go down there and knock it out. So we'll be moving really, really quickly once we get those. Once we get those kettles in there, we'll be moving. So
Right now, what is your intended goal of opening?
So we originally wrote June 3rd on the wall when we took the space. I think it was pretty optimistic, but yeah, we'd love to be open this summer, maybe July. But we'll see if the TTB, I think, is kind of the long lead item. So yeah.
Everything else looks like it'll fall in place. That's one of the big things.
Yeah, I think so. Well, right now, I think so.
Yeah.
We'll see what other surprises come up.
Right.
God, there's a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
It's stuff you can't even imagine. We had, so I think that, if I remember correctly, the TTB or somebody, when we're filling out forms, they wanted to know how many pets we had. I mean, it was mental. And then the insurance guy came over when Bob was working, and he says, okay, so what is this going to be? Oh, it's going to be a brewery. Oh, okay. Is this going to be an assisted living facility? No. Well, kind of. Is it going to be a nail salon? It's going to be a brewery. Where do you people come from? It was... Yeah, so those have been like the surprises that have come. You just couldn't imagine your wildest dreams that why anybody would want to know that, or...
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm guessing that, a lot of insurance companies come across breweries nowadays, but you must have come across an agent who had no idea what he was insuring.
Yeah, I mean, they send out, they send out a person that just goes around and visits different businesses and has like their standard set of questions that they ask everybody. Underwriter, yeah. And they don't tailor the questions for the business or anything, so they ask you these odd questions that make no sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I get that, you have a list, but are you really going to ask if you're a nail salon, if you're going to be a brewery? I mean, that doesn't quite make any sense.
Well, you better answer those questions, though.
Exactly. Have you found any of those type things cost-wise or a lot different than you anticipated they would be?
Not permit-wise. I mean, the permit from the city was a little more costly than we thought. But really, the big costs are the contractors, plumbing, electric, that type of stuff that is more than we anticipated.
Right. So I think you guys mentioned that you haven't done a lot of brewing lately, right?
No, we've been pretty much dedicated to building out the real brewery. So yeah, we haven't been doing much home brewing recently.
We made a stout, and that blew so fast. The cool thing, I built a really fancy electric brewery based on this company, Cal, at theelectricbrewery.com. And so I built this thing out from scratch, and this control box and all this stuff. So the cool thing about that, besides that we could control our mash temperatures and stuff inside of like a degree, which is great, we were able to make 10-gallon batches. So we could just... the brew day is basically the same. If you're brewing 5 gallons probably, or 500... it's within a couple hours, it's about the same. So it's cool being able to brew. We just split the kegs and so, but man, it goes so fast, which is good, right? Yeah. I guess everybody's drinking our beer.
Right.
Hopefully not just because it's free.
That's always possible.
I guess we'll find out once we start charging for it.
Yeah. So you have is this all invested you two alone?
At the moment, it is. As the costs pile up, we're starting to explore other investors, but Up to this point, it's just been Jesse and I.
Yeah.
Looking around the garage for stuff to sell and seeing how much room's left in the credit cards. And as everybody does, if you don't have you had to, sell your kidneys kind of a story, then you didn't do it right, I don't think.
Yeah. Now, that's one thing. There's been some breweries that have done Kickstarters to fund small things that they needed at the end, like glassware and stuff like that. Has anything like that, pass through your minds at all?
Yeah, we're actually planning on doing one. Hopefully, get it launched sometime in April.
Okay.
To kind of get us to that point where we can get open. So, yeah, we're definitely going to do something like that.
Okay, very cool. So, what about how many batches of beer have you guys brewed together?
Probably 15 or 20. Yeah.
But you brewed a lot separately.
Yeah, I've brewed over 100 times myself.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 60 or 70 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think you have recipes down that you're going to be using?
Yeah, we have some standards. Not really. They're really Bob's. He's got a few that he's always made, and with tweaking here and there, we've soured a stout, for example, one that he's made several times. And so there's definitely beers that we like that we have an IPA we really like. Styles like that. We're kind of still working with them, but yeah, there's plenty of styles that we make consistently.
Okay, Figurehead Brewing, right? Mm-hmm. Where did you come up with the name?
Picked it out of the phone book. We got to a point, so once we got the space, like in Fisherman's Terminal, it was like, okay, you need a name because you got to put it on the lease and start doing all this other stuff. So it's like, people started to say, okay, we need a name by Friday, and it's Wednesday. Like, okay. So I just start writing down different things that not only appealed to me, but that were sort of personal that I related to. And so we just started writing stuff down, and everybody seemed to latch on to Figurehead. And Figurehead, so a lot of people don't know what that is, the figurehead being the head of a company or something, but in this context, it's on the bow of a ship, there's sort of a representative of the ship. It could be Napoleon, it could be a horse with flames going behind it, it could be most typically women. Ships are usually referred to by gender as she, right? So you'd have a woman on the bow of the ship, and she was sort of identified that ship and good luck and so forth. So it's a individual type of a thing. We have a mascot kind of, if you will, and a she, for the brewery, which appeals to sailors. It's just something. It's part of our heritage, if you will. So.
And Jesse mentioned he's been in the maritime industry pretty much his entire working life, and we're right by a fisherman's terminal, so that kind of connection just seemed to make sense. So.
Okay. So you both work full-time jobs now. Are you going to both continue doing that and work the brewery around that?
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, we'll be sticking with our day jobs to pay the bills.
Right.
Our ultimate goal is that this 1,500 square foot 7-barrel brewery is really a stepping stone. So we're hoping to outgrow that at some point and step up to a larger brewery. So probably at that point, whenever that comes, might be the point where we'll need to dedicate full time to the brewery. So.
Yeah, so far everybody does, and I've been to dozens and dozens of breweries and all over the country and here, and eventually, I always ask, so are you guys full time? I kind of ask these prying questions, whether they know what I'm trying to do or not, and as you always do, right? Yeah. So how big an electrical service do you have?
That's a normal question.
Where did you get your fermenters? Were you happy with the service? Kind of a thing. So anyway, same sort of a deal when you're asking breweries. They're, oh yeah, we're full time now. We wouldn't have time to have day jobs. So, yeah.
That would be the goal, right? Like you said, you sit around at your day job and you dream about brewing beer. So obviously, this would be ultimate goal down the road. Yeah. So anything else you guys want to mention before we start this? Right now, it'll be bi-weekly, and then eventually we'll have a weekly segment.
We're excited to take part, and there's been a lot of breweries that we've talked to and brewers as we've been going through this process, and they've been immensely helpful and kind with their time. And maybe if somebody can glean a little bit from our experience to help them along, that'd be fantastic. So.
Yeah, we're grateful for the opportunity to do this. It's a lot of fun anyways, but it's cool to, our name will be on a podcast. Like, well, it's real, we'll have a brewery at some point. So that'll be nice motivation. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is that in this industry, as you talk to people, and you guys know this too, is you talk to people that brew, and there's no competition. Everybody wants you to succeed, and everybody reaches out, and it's a really positive industry, as it were, to be in. I feel really lucky to be getting into this, and it suits our personalities. We want everybody to be happy, and beer's the way to do it. That's how we know how to do it. Awesome.
Thanks to Bob and Jesse for joining us today. We look forward to our segment called Building a Brewery, and the next time we will talk to them will be in 2 weeks. We will be right back after a local music break from Stenosis.
That was Losing Control by Stenosis. You can check them out at stenosismusic.bandcamp.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today. And now let's try our second beer of the night, Diamond Knot Craft Brewing's 20th Anniversary Ale. Diamond Knot is located in Mukilteo, and they are open 7 days a week. Their 20th Anniversary Ale is rummy, allspice, light caramel, resiny, spicy hop character with a hint of apricots. 8.1% ABV, 67 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.78.
Okay, I'm not really sure when this came out, since it says 20th Anniversary Ale, but they've been handcrafting ales in Snohomish County since 1994.
So it's maybe it was just a really good brew, so they just keep producing it.
Maybe.
And they made it.
It said it was. It said it was ridiculously limited release. So I'm not sure exactly when this came out. We got this at a bottle shop, though. All right. So it's
yeah, it hasn't been sitting for 2 years at our house.
No, it is a darker color.
Very malty smelling.
Mm-hmm. A little fruity smell.
You can definitely taste the fruit.
Yeah, I think that's an apricot I just tasted. It is, something in there that we're tasting, but that has a different flavor to it.
Definitely.
Obviously, they were going for something different. This was not a like a heavy alcohol. It's
it's 8.3% or 8.3.
Yeah, but it's not.
Mine says my research said 8.1, but
it says 8.3 on the bottle.
Somewhere
so
I'll go with the bottle. Then 8.1%. Yeah,
but. They obviously they were going for something different than a lot of the anniversary ones, but it's the 20th anniversary, so they're probably looking to do something.
Yeah, that's
different
big.
too.
They've been around for a long time.
Yeah, definitely one of the early ones. 94. That's a long time ago. But yeah, that has a definitely different flavor to it. Yeah, interesting flavor.
I want you to give me fresh beer. You serious?
This week's fresh beer is a collaboration from Bale Brewing Company and Reuben's Brews. The collaboration in Indian Pale Lager. This tasty brew started with Reuben's Brews House Lager yeast strain and a lot of mosaic hops, which will go well with lager yeast. They also use experimental hop HBC 344, which features berry notes that work well with mosaic and lager character. It was dry hopped at a colder temperature than normal with Citra, Azaika, and more mosaic hops. In all, they use more than 4 pounds of hops per barrel, 7% ABV, and 70 IBUs. And when I looked this up on Untappd, of course, it was just released, so there weren't a lot of ratings, but there were a few, and they were all pretty high, mostly in the 3 to 4 range. So
4 pounds per barrel. That means they put a lot of hops in this beer.
Yes.
Sounds good. Beer sounds good to me. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with Naked City.
The show is written and produced by Michelle Rizzo and myself.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or on Twitter at nwbrewtalk. Our theme music is from Gilbert Neal. You can check him out at gilbertneal.com.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hoppin', my friends.